Alright, it is the evening of Tuesday, November 23rd, and I'm going to be doing a drive from my house just around Northeast Minneapolis. I've been doing this drive in different, it's been broken up into several different drives, but a lot of the areas around my house where FSD has struggled or hesitated too much, I've kind of built up a list of those spots, so I want to try to actually go through most of those on a single drive and then just kind of make this my test loop going forward. So I'll be doing this drive with every release exactly as it's done today. This is a benchmark along with all the other types of drives that I've been doing to like the gym and things like that. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to be switching up the navigation here along the way to kind of trick it into going and using the route that I want to take, since I don't have the waypoints yet. So hopefully with FSD Beta 10.6 that will be something I'll never have to worry about again, but for now it's an issue and I have a workaround, so it's no biggie. So anyways, I am going to turn on FSD and let's go for a drive. Awesome. So right from the driveway, I tried that same thing this morning while going to McDonald's, and it did not work. So pretty cool to see it actually work that time. So I'm not sure if the car saw the car on our right. I mean, they were very visible with their bright headlights, but it seemed like it did. It just rendered it on the screen a little bit too late. And probably part of it's because I have my music screen up there, so I minimized that. But I don't really see an issue there. So I'll have to go back and watch the footage. But from what I saw there, it didn't seem like the car missed it. It was just doing its normal hesitation and waiting for it to pass. Compared to this morning, that was a much better left turn. This morning it really struggled first off, it went way too far to the left, blocking traffic that would have been coming the opposite way, turning onto the road I was on. And it really hesitated, and then it tried to go and it shouldn't have. So much more, that was a big improvement there. So hopefully that's a trend that we'll see in subsequent drives with 10.5. So I'm not sure why the car decided to just jump over to the right like that. I'm going to report that. That was kind of annoying. If we were trying to race, I could see that as a block pass, but that's not the objective here. That was awesome. Honestly, the car didn't even hesitate. It just, came to a complete stop and then went for it. That intersection's been a pain point for FSD, especially when there's no cars there. It always likes to hesitate a bit too much. So I'll have to try this drive again during the daytime to see if there's any comparison or difference in results there. And again, it looks like the car is just still hesitating a bit too much here. So it looks like while there's been some improvement on one of those intersections there, the second one is still a pain point for FSD. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if it improves in subsequent builds. But it's nice to see at least one of the two intersections where it's had trouble with is better now. It's really, I think 10.4, but for sure 10.5 makes that much better. So one comment I'll make, again, that I'm noticing, I'm not really seeing any change in behavior. As you can see in that road behind us there, the car likes to, again, sit too much in the center of the road, especially when there's cars coming the opposite way. I'd really prefer to get over to the right and give them as much space as possible. I mean, there's no cars parked on the right, so use the space. Stay to the right if you can. Even if it's a little bit right biased, you can still stick towards the center, but just bias yourself more to the right versus the center. And great job with that right turn there. Honestly, that one is, I guess, more of a problem during the day when it's been busier. But when there's no cars there, it's been pretty consistently good at that. So no behavior changes there. Yeah, so again, you just notice the turn signal there. I'm going to report that. The car, for whatever reason, likes to think this is a two-lane road, or I guess one-directional road with two lanes, and it's not the case. I don't know why it wants to flip the signal on, but it usually does it in the same exact spot. It looks like it wants to try to render there being a center line, a lane marker line in the middle, as if there's, two lanes, one in each direction, but it kind of fades in and out, as you can see on the visuals there. So I'm not sure if they're trying something new in this build. I don't remember seeing that in previous builds. So I'll have to go back and check the footage, but I'm pretty sure that's something new. Alright, a little bit of hesitation there for that oncoming car. I'm just going to report that. That car was no threat to us. So I want to say that's an improvement there. The car slowed down, but you could see that it did so and stayed more to the right. It seems like it recognized the fact that this is a tighter road, which is pretty darn cool to see, actually. So I'm gonna again do this drive in the daytime, because I usually take this route during the day when I go to the office. And to see if the behavior has changed for sure. But for now, that seems like an improvement. It seems like the car is definitely trying to stay more to the right and stay less towards the center. Yeah, and again, the car struggles here, and it has in subsequent releases, so I took over there. I'm just going to continue to report that. A little bit of hesitation there, as it was kind of trying to figure out if it was ready to turn or not, but it got through it and made that turn no problem. Yeah, I'm going to take over here. I'm not really liking what the car is doing. So it seemed to accelerate. I don't know what it was doing there. I'll have to go back and watch the footage again, but that was not good behavior. It was like almost accelerating. It's like we're making a left turn, so I'm not sure what it tried to do there. But simply pressed the brake and then overrode it, and obviously disengaged FSD. So another report. Alright, so that was interesting there. The car just jammed on the brakes. I'm guessing it's for that pedestrian that it kind of saw. And, honestly, I'm going to report that, but I will say that's something that, it probably did that as a precaution, because it surprised the system and honestly surprised me. The person wasn't really wearing any reflective gear, but nonetheless, that was a bit jarring. So, apologies, Tesla team, if I reported something that didn't need to be reported there. So again, I know legally that the car is more than, I think that the law is that the car is supposed to, or you're supposed to drive, when you cross an intersection like that where one lane turns into two, you're supposed to stay to the right. However, most people stay to the left there, and I'd prefer the car do that because I would be willing to bet 99% of human beings are going to stay to the left back there. And if somebody's turning or expecting, the car might try to jam on the brakes because it's waiting for that lane to clear up on the right. So I reported that. We'll see. I'm sure that's a debatable topic there, but again, something I've noticed. I noticed it in a few videos with 10.4. The behavior still seems to be there, so I'm guessing it's to follow the law, but I'd have to double check. Wow, that was probably the best left turn I've seen a FSD do ever, and since I've gotten 10.2, I came in with a safety score, folks. So that was impressive. Car was confident the entire time, didn't hit the brakes at all, did some coasting there as we were following this car in front of us to make its turn, but super confident. That was very awesome. I want to see more of that now. So at first I thought the car was wrongfully hesitating there, but I think it thought that car in front of us was going to make a turn on red there, which, probably a good assumption to make. I will not report that, but that was something, just an interesting thing I just noticed. I was about to criticize the car, but the car, was probably right to wait there. Yeah, a friend Dwayne of mine mentioned that he's got FSD as well, and he mentioned the braking inputs are much smoother, and I think that I do agree from what I can see so far. Overall, as you're approaching a red light like we just did, the braking inputs are definitely an improvement over 10.4, which was a huge improvement over 10.3. 10.3 was the worst, with how it would just jam on the brakes. 10.4 was a noticeable improvement. It seems like they've made another step in that direction, so again, good to see the improvements. So I'm going to signal and get over. The car wants to use both lanes, but unfortunately people can park. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but people could park on the shoulder on the evenings. So I'm going to report that. It's just to stay in the left lane if possible, unless somebody ahead is turning, which I know the car can't really see turn signals yet. So once it does, obviously on this road you definitely want to stay in just the center lane here. Otherwise you're going to be constantly going back and forth, which is a bit of a pain. And you can see again it's trying to get over, but I'm going to kill it here because I don't know if somebody's parked ahead. It looks like we're clear, so. So the car didn't try to go at all, which I honestly am fine with. There's been so many accidents on this intersection alone. Well, that was a bit interesting. I was ready to hit the brakes, but then I saw the car get over. So I don't know if I would have applied so much, throttle there. So I'll report it for that reason. But the maneuver itself was fine, right? It got over, recognized there was a car ahead of it with some room to spare, and then got over. So just could have gone without the hammering of the throttle there. Looks like it detected that whatever that was back there as a stoplight and slowed down, but I don't remember seeing a stoplight there, so we're going to report that as well. Alright, so I'm not sure why the car, it made it through that first red light, or that light that was going, from yellow to red, but that second one there, it really struggled with, so I'm going to report that. I had to give the car a little bit of throttle input. A little bit of hesitation there. I mean, the car was turning there, so I'm not sure why it needed to slow down, or thought it needed to slow down there. That seems to be an issue just across the board with FSD Beta 10, and honestly it was a problem with autopilot before. The car, for turning cars that are obvious they're turning, the car seems to have a trouble, validating that, right? Well, it's obvious to human drivers that the car is turning and kind of out of the way. The car seems to think they might be a threat still, so. So again, consistent behavior you'll notice with basically since FSD Beta 10.2 when I came on board, the car, it's hard to see now at night, but the car positions the wheel to the right, even though we're turning left, to make a wider swooping line. It doesn't need to. We have so much room here on these streets in Minneapolis. It's unnecessary, and it will block the car behind us if it in some cases. So I really wish they'll get rid of that behavior at some point. Alright, so this is kind of dangerous here. As you notice there, the car was kind of hesitating, going, hesitating. There's somebody behind us, so I had to give it a little bit of throttle input, like right there as well. I'm going to report that as well. It's dangerous to just chop the throttle like that, so they really need to improve the creeping functionality, right? And so if the car is moving through the intersection, it should coast. If it's uncertain, there's no harm in coasting forward, right? We're not blocking the intersection at that point. Got plenty of room. So there's definitely some changes they can make to the behavior to get it to respond differently. And again, as you see there, the auto brights, they love to blind people. They need to update the code. On Tesla, I will make this request. If you're in a city area like Minneapolis or any larger city, there's no need to, have the brights on. Should be ever. So either that or improve the detection of other cars that are around. I'm going to report that as well. Another thing back there, got really jerky on this road. It's kind of an awkward road. It's really just one lane on this road. It's unmarked, but I was trying to get the car to make a turn there. I kind of failed when I told it to go home a different way here. So I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to position the car back the opposite way. Awesome. Great job with that turn right there. No issues. It's a bit of a tighter space there because of how the curbs kind of come out. Kind of squeezed the width of the lane down a bit, but no issues there. So again, this intersection right there, I'm just gonna report it, but that intersection's been a problem, right, for FSD pretty much forever, and it always overly hesitates there, even when there's no cars. I should say, especially when there's no cars present at the intersection except us. So seems to still be a problem there, but again, this road is like 5 minutes from my house, so it's an easy one to test and see if they make changes to the behavior. So we'll be looking forward to hopefully that one getting fixed in just a 10.6 or 10.7. We'll see. That was a great turn. Again, no complaints really. Maybe just a little too much speed it accelerated up to before it made the turn, but it made it smooth. So again, big difference compared to like 10.3 where that was really rough, and especially 10.2 as well. It would just grenade the brakes before it made the turn, and if anybody was behind you, they were in for a surprise. A little bit of hesitation there. I'm guessing it picked up that base of that cone that it maybe thought was going to be in its way. So, I'm fine with it slowing down there. That was a safe move, especially if that was during the day. There would probably be construction people working in that area. So. And again, you'll see the car make this really swooping turn. Did not need to do that. But hey, even in the dark there, it picked up that pedestrian. Again, that person was not wearing reflectors or anything like that, so pretty cool. Even in pretty dark conditions, the car was able to spot that person. And again, this is another one of those typical intersections where the car overly hesitates, especially when there's nobody there, which there pretty much never is. So, no changes from any of the previous builds to 10.5, so maybe 10.6. We will see. Awesome. Well, that's it for this drive of the Northeast Minneapolis test loop. I will do another one of these drives during the day just to see if any of the results change. But I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one.